Hey, friends, welcome back to The Real Dish. I'm Maria, and today we're talking about something that has been on my mind a lot lately. Because if you've been scrolling social media, watching award shows, or flipping through any of the celebrity rags, you've probably noticed it too. The skinny trend, it's back. Yay. No, why? Honestly, I mean, it worries me because I care. I care a lot. I went through this already in the 90s, late 80s, and it basically gave everybody an eating disorder. And I'm not here to critique anybody's body because I have definitely seen this movie before. I grew up in that Kate Moss era, the heroin chic, era of diet soda, lunch, and cigarette, kind of chaser thin models. And the era that we were told to take up less space was somehow the ultimate achievement. I mean, let's just waste away and see how that looks on us. We had magazines telling us how to lose 10 pounds by Friday. I mean, celebrities admitted that they survived on almost nothing. And we did have an entire generation of women learning that hunger was a badge of honor. And I was included in that group. And I had to spend the following decade pulling myself out of that hole. So let's be honest. That message gave a whole lot of women disordered relationships with food, exercise, and their bodies, me included. And maybe not clinically diagnosed with eating disorders, but certainly disordered eating, chronic dieting, food guilt, fear of carbs, fear of fat, fear of anything that resembles a meal, and fear ultimately of taking up space. And now, decades later, I'm watching this very, very treacherous pendulum swing again. We're seeing celebrities become dramatically smaller. I mean, Demi Moore, what happened to you from G.I. Jane? I mean, you were like jacked and now you're half a jack. We're seeing social media celebrate shrinking bodies and how to get that body diet. We're seeing headlines dissecting appearances. And while we don't know what's happening in anyone else's body, and it's really none of our business to speculate, the cultural message feels familiar. Smaller, 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 thinner, thinner, thinner. Meanwhile, science is telling us something completely different, especially after 40, especially after menopause. The real goal isn't skinny because muscle is your longevity organ. And without it, you are compromising not only your health, but your ability to prevent injury. To stay strong is the goal, not skinny. So the goal is not to become less, it's to become more capable, more resilient, more powerful. And that's what today's episode and that's what today's episode is all about. Why muscle may be the most important longevity asset you have, and why women need to stop chasing skinny immediately. This is all about building strength. Let's go. Let me tell you about my own wake up call. For a long time, I thought I was doing it all right. I exercised, I ate well, I counted macros. This is after my whole struggle with eating, period. That Kate Moss area really did me dirty. And it took a full decade to recover. But after that, I really thought I was on the right track. I was pushing harder, I was working harder, I was white knuckling my way through menopause. And then it just stopped working. It wasn't working anymore. The eating less, the exercising more, the pushing harder. My body eventually stopped cooperating because my hormones shifted and recovery became harder. Building muscle became really hard. I mean, I was really, really wondering what is going on. And what finally changed everything wasn't another diet and another workout plan. It was really asking myself, what can I do to get stronger? And that question changed my life. It started with getting my exercise habits correct. And one of the most transformative things that I ever decided to do was really audacious. And that was to compete in bikini bodybuilding. Bikini bodybuilding is a category of bodybuilding. There are three main categories. There's bikini, which is, I would say, the smallest muscles. And then there is wellness, which is in the middle. And then there's figure. And that is the more muscular bodybuilding. Now, to get to that stage is a full lifetime of dedication. I mean, that is not something that by lifting weights tomorrow you could aspire to do. It takes years and years and years and years. For me, my prep took about 16 to 20 weeks. And the first time I stepped on the stage, I was 53. The second time, I was 55. And people assume that the biggest lesson about that was aesthetics, but it wasn't. It was really about discovering what my body was capable of. I added about 6 to 7 pounds of muscle. I became stronger than I'd ever been. I learned discipline. I learned patience. I learned that endless cardio was not the way to do it. I was actually tearing down the muscle. And I learned that age wasn't the limitation I thought it was. And here's what's funny: the older I get, the less interested I am in looking tiny. I am already a small person. I'm 5 feet tall. Okay. So I don't want to disappear, especially as I get older. I get nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I get nervous when I see petite women who are elderly and they're all hunched over and they've already lost like several inches off their frame. I can't afford for that to happen. I want to stay strong and sturdy and with my head lifted high with as many inches as I can still retain. I want to be able to lift my luggage over my head when I get on a flight. I want to hike mountains. I want to travel independently. I want to carry groceries. I want to play with my future grandchildren. I want to stay mobile and I want to prevent injury. And muscle gives you those options. Now, to me, muscle, and not just to me, I should say, to many, many doctors and people, muscle is the ultimate longevity asset. It's what you work for, it's what money and plastic surgery cannot buy. Muscle. You have to build it, you've got to put in the work. But let's talk about what's happening biologically because at around age 30, we start to lose muscle. The process is called sarcopenia, and it's it doesn't you don't see it, okay? You don't see it obviously, but after menopause, it's like you've stepped on the gas. It really accelerates because estrogen drops and testosterone drops and progesterone drops, so you have to get your hormone balance in check. And then recovery changes because ladies, are you having a hard time sleeping? I mean, that's part of where we recover the most. So, all of the hormone changes, all of your lifestyle habit changes, your ability to sleep well changes. And so, muscle becomes really much harder to maintain and it becomes a very active endeavor. It is not accidental. It is not accidental. So, if we're not actively building it by eating enough, by working out and doing enough resistance training and recovering enough and resting, we're losing it. We're losing that muscle. And here's the problem: most women know osteoporosis is a concern because that's been drilled into us for decades, but very few realize that muscle loss may be just as important, if not more. It's not a vanity issue, it's a metabolic issue. I have seen it with my own two eyes in my own body. Now, here are a few things about muscle that I've learned that we may not realize muscle helps to regulate blood sugar. When I was in my 30s, I was diagnosed as hypoglycemic. Now, the doctor pinpointed this in my fasting glucose. And what I definitely knew was that I wasn't eating right. I was eating way too many refined carbs. I wasn't getting enough protein and I wasn't eating often enough. So, of course, that was affecting my blood sugar. And so, when you have enough muscle, that actually helps you with regulating your blood sugar and your insulin levels. It helps to improve insulin sensitivity, which menopause definitely impacts. It helps to protect bones. Bone density is a huge issue as we age, hence the osteoporosis comment. And so you can think of those two working together. Your muscle is helping to protect your bone density. Muscle also improves balance. So if you do fall, it's not as devastating as if you had enough muscle on you. And it also does help to reduce those falls. Plus, it helps you recover from illness and helps you maintain independence, which to me, that is just so incredibly important. I feel this, I'm not going to call it guilt, but I definitely feel this incumbent requirement on my life, as long as I can help it, to try and not burden others. I want to be strong so that I don't have to rely on someone to help me put things away or grab groceries or lean over to grab things or get myself off the toilet. I know that you might be chuckling right now, but that's a thing. Some people don't have enough muscle strength to get themselves on and off the toilet. So I am really cognizant of these things, and you probably are too if you're listening to this. So muscle and bone density hand in hand are all really, really, really important. This is not a vanity thing. I want to stress that. It's not about a number on the scale because muscle does weigh more than fat. So I want to encourage you when you are monitoring your progress to not just rely on the number of on the scale. And it's not the number of your dress size. It is about body composition. What does your body fat percentage look like? What does your bone density look like? What does your muscle look like? And these are all things that you can find out with a DEXA scan. That is very telling. It's not a scale, guys. And it's not just a body fat percentage either. We need these other vital measurements to really have our finger on the pulse of what's going on in our body. I've seen a lot of body recomposition stories online and have done my own. And it's very telling when you can see what your bone density looks like. I mean, I got a real wake up call in my last DEXA scan, and that is what I am actively working on right now is building bone density and building muscle. So all of these tie up into strength. So let's address the elephant in the room, the return of extreme thinness. I'm seeing celebrities like Ariana Grande and Olivia Wilde and Demi Moore that have sparked significant conversations online. And again, I want to be very clear. This is not about judging anyone. We don't know what their health status is. We don't know their circumstances. We don't know their struggles. But what we can discuss is culture. And culturally, I think we're in very dangerous territory. Because once again, we're glorifying fragility. We are looking at fragility, and that is the opposite of what we need, especially after 40. We need strength and resilience and muscle and confidence and energy. And the last thing I want for you in your power era, we are redefining the word midlife, by the way, and we're calling it power era, if you didn't catch that. We don't want to spend another decade obsessing over becoming smaller and jeopardizing our ability to age strong. We're actually robbing ourselves of years potentially of our lives if we opt for the smaller version. It's very, very dangerous territory. And a lot of what is encouraging this is the GLP-1 conversation. This is a cultural phenomenon. We are living in it right now. Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, all of these medications that have helped many people. Okay, they were originally designed to help with diabetes, and they are helping people improve blood sugar, reduce obesity. They are changing lives definitively. There is no question about that. And for some people, they're absolutely appropriate. But, and that's a big but, there's something we need to talk about. Because when a drug like this is prescribed and appetite disappears, nutrition often disappears too. Let me say that again because I kind of stuttered. When appetite disappears, when you have no appetite because you're taking one of these drugs, nutrition also disappears. And I've heard women proudly say, I forgot to eat all day. Friend, girlfriend, sister, that isn't a badge of honor. That's a problem. Because when your calories drop dramatically, you don't just lose fat, you often lose muscle. And what did I say? After 30, we are losing muscle progressively. And after menopause, it is like you have pushed the gas. It accelerates so much faster. Muscle is the most precious accessory you own that you build yourself. You can lose 20 pounds, but if a significant percentage of that comes from muscle, not only are you suffering, your metabolism tanks, your strength tanks, your resilience tanks, your ability to fight infection and even a cold, a flu really suffers. And so does your future self. I can't stress this enough. So if you're using a GLP-1, one of these medications, and maybe you don't have an appetite, you might want to check with your doctor and see if microdosing, taking it in much smaller doses, could also yield results. I've talked to many, many women who have told me that microdosing has been exactly what they need. And if that's enough, then you don't need to go overboard to the point where you have no appetite. So when you're on one of these drugs, the non-negotiables are making sure you're prioritizing protein first at every meal, every day, even when you're not hungry. And if you're like, well, how do I do that even if I'm not hungry? Again, you've got to take a look at your dosage. And before you grab the carb, okay, before you grab the extra fat, protein first. And our goal is 25 to 30 grams of protein at every meal. It's not a lot. It might sound like a lot, but 3 ounces of chicken breast is 25 grams. 3 ounces is not much at all. Okay. If you do 4 ounces and a little spoon of yogurt or cottage cheese, you're there. It's not a hard thing to get to. And if you're wondering, well, how do I do this? Please, please, please go to therealdish.com and you'll see a free download. It says it's about heart health, but it also gives you guidance on your daily protein intake. Go add your name to it, get it for free, and download it. And it will give you so many ideas on how to get your protein in. So really, really, really important to building muscle. We are not building muscle if we're not getting enough protein. Period, full stop. The second part of that is resistance training. Not optional, protective. We gotta do it. And we've got to do it at least 2 times a week, better yet, 3 times. 2 to 3 times a week is what the data shows us. And we are doing that resistance training on all major muscle groups. We're doing upper body, we're doing lower body, we're doing small muscles. And when you are getting your protein in and you are doing the resistance training, this is protective health insurance, okay? These are protective measures that we're taking that most women really dramatically underestimate. So, when we measure more than just weight, we look at body composition, we look at strength gains, we look at energy, we look at functionality. That scale is just one data point. We've got to look at the whole big picture. And I want to remind you, you can do it at any age. I started really focusing on this at age 52. My friend Renee Landers, you've seen her all over Instagram. She started at age 67. She did her first bodybuilding show at age 69. Okay, we can definitely start at any age. So let's get practical. Let's start by prioritizing protein at breakfast. I mean, many women, we like to start our day with toast, cereal, muffins, oatmeal, fruit. There's nothing inherently wrong with these foods, but you've got to get the protein in too. So let's add the eggs. Let's add the Greek yogurt. Let's add the cottage cheese. I know cottage cheese is like a meme now, but it is so valuable. You can incorporate it. I add it to so many different things. I add it to my egg scrambles. I add it to my protein waffles. I add it to my protein pancakes. You don't have to just eat the thing by itself. Get the eggs, get the egg whites. Have your protein smoothie, but eat something with it because when you chew, you trigger your metabolism. And on and on and on. I have so many different resources and ways to do this for you on my website at therealdish.com. Number two is lift those weights. You're not going to become an accidental bodybuilder. I promise you. And building that meaningful muscle takes so much intention. And the goal isn't to get bulky, it's to become capable. So we want strong legs, strong glutes, we want strong core, we want a strong back, and that's going to give us a strong future, my friend. And if you have any questions again on what to do, therealdish.com. I built this website for you so you could get everything that you need. I'm telling you, grab the free resources. And then the third thing is to eat enough. This is where decades of dieting have really failed women. Many women are underfueled, and your body cannot build muscle from deprivation. It will not do it. It is just trying to survive. So it will break down muscle and catabolize that muscle in order to give you enough fuel. And that is that is just like breaking down what you've worked so hard to build. You need protein, fiber, healthy fats, micronutrients. You need that nourishment. And this is why I'm always talking about these three things. It's really the foundation. And then, of course, we need time to recover. Growth doesn't happen during the workout. It happens after. Happens with your sleep, with your hydration, with your stress management, with your recovery. Those are all muscle building tools too. I think we forget about that. We think, oh, it's just nice to have. But if you're just like pounding your body and in the gym constantly and sleeping 3 to 4 hours a night, heck no. It is again going to put your body into unnecessary stress, and that is not going to work in your favor. So I have really come to believe that the strongest women I know are not always the strongest in the gym. They're the strongest in life. They're the women who leave the unhealthy relationships to the wayside. They are okay with reinventing themselves. They're the women who keep showing up. And strength is physical, but strength is also courage. And I really think we need both. We need the courage to just say, I am not going to follow the latest trend because XYZ woman looks like that. I'm not going to just jump on board these food fads of just eating fat all the time and not thinking about the other things. I am going to follow the real dish. I am going to real double down on my life because I think the quality of life that you decide to build will reflect the strength that you've built too. And in closing, I just want to remind you that for decades we were told to shrink. I mean, we came from that era, guys. We were told to eat less and weigh less and take up less space, and it's really time for a new message. It's time to build strength and build muscle and build resilience, build that resistance too with your weight training. Build confidence and build the life that you want because the goal was never skinny. The goal is and always has been freedom. Muscle is really like your retirement account for your future health. So keep depositing into your pursuit of strength. And that, my friends, is the real dish. So if this episode resonated with you, would you share it with a friend who's ready to stop shrinking and start building? This is our power era. Let's stay powered up, fueled up. And the new motto is fuel, ignite, and thrive. Fuel your body, ignite your purpose, and thrive in your power era. And I'm so glad you're here.